Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Explore strategies, lessons from top-level matches. Sign up now.
Leinster quickly surged ahead 14-0, giving the impression that this would be an easy victory. But precisely in that seemingly safest moment, cracks began to appear. Inaccurate passes, careless handling, moments of inattention, all turned their advantage into a vulnerability. Edinburgh didn't need to play exceptionally well to score, they only needed to take advantage of the gifts offered by their opponent. This made me wonder, how many times in my life have I been like Leinster in the first half? When everything is going smoothly, I become careless, overconfident, and inadvertently create opportunities for failure to sneak in. Early success is sometimes not a solid foundation but the most cunning trap. The first half ended with a narrow margin, and what's noteworthy is that Leinster wasn't completely dominated, they made it difficult for themselves. This is a very thoughtful point. Failure or difficulty doesn't always come from external sources, often, the root cause lies in one's own lack of discipline and focus.
In the second half, the drama escalated. When Darcy Graham created an explosive moment that put Edinburgh ahead, the surprise nearly turned into a shock. A team in poor form could lead against a strong contender. It sounds absurd, yet it was entirely real. That moment reminded me of times in life when everything suddenly flips. You might have everything under control, but just one small mistake, one series of inaccurate decisions, and everything can change. At that point, the most important thing is not to panic, but how you respond. Leinster chose the right response. They didn't collapse. They didn't let negative emotions take over. Instead, they tightened their formation, accelerated, and scored 3 consecutive points to restore a safe lead. This is the difference between a great team and an unstable one, the ability to manage emotions and respond when faced with adversity. I realized that resilience isn't about never making mistakes, but about the ability to correct them at the right moment. No one is perfect, but not everyone is alert enough to get back on track when things start to slip.
What made me reflect deeply was the issue of managing playing time, as mentioned by coach Rieko Ioane. Compared to the French players, it's clear that Leinster's key players were rested more for critical stages. Initially, this could be controversial, could playing less make players lose rhythm? But seeing how they exploded at decisive moments, it's evident this was a long-term strategy. This reminds me of how we allocate energy in life. Doing more is not always better. Sometimes, knowing how to conserve energy and choosing the right moment to break through is the key. Working smart is just as important as working hard. However, Leinster's victory was not entirely flawless. For more than the first 50 minutes, they played inconsistently, lost focus, and allowed the opponent several chances to come back. This reminds me that ultimate success should not mask underlying problems. If you don't face your weaknesses, they will continue to resurface, potentially with more serious consequences.
This reflects a harsh reality. In sports and in life, opportunities don't come often. And when they do, you need not only to seize them but also to have the courage to protect your achievements. Edinburgh did well in creating opportunities, but failed in maintaining them. A notable highlight was Rieko Ioane's performance. After previous criticism, he showed signs of revival with creative plays and decisive decisions. This reminds me not to judge someone hastily based on a phase of performance. Everyone has off moments, but the important question is whether they can come back. Additionally, referee Luke Pearce's management of the game offered an interesting lesson. His decisiveness, flexibility, and positive communication helped the match flow smoothly, despite complex situations. In any environment, sports, work, or life, the role of the arbiter is crucial. Fairness is not only about rules, but also about how people apply them. Looking back at the match, what stayed with me wasn't the 49 points or the quarter-final ticket, but the emotional journey it brought.
From confidence and complacency, to worry, then an explosion of effort, and finally relief. It was a very human journey. The biggest lesson I take for myself is, never let initial advantage cloud your judgment. Always stay disciplined, respect your opponent, and prepare for the worst-case scenarios. At the same time, when in difficulty, don't give up, because in just a short time, with focus and determination, you can completely turn things around. For fans, this match is also a reminder that sports are not just about winning or losing. They reflect deeper life values, perseverance, responsibility, the ability to overcome mistakes, and faith in improvement. In a world full of volatility, where things can change in the blink of an eye, the most important thing is not always being ahead, but knowing how to finish your journey. Leinster won, but that victory was not solely theirs. It is proof that humans, even when making mistakes, can correct them and move forward. And perhaps, that is the true resurrection, not of a team, but of a spirit that never gives up.
Thank you for being with me. Remember, success is knowing how to correct your mistakes and rise up when faced with challenges.